One of the most difficult things I have as my job is to not sound pedantic, not sound authoritarian, not sound professorial, not like I'm pointing, saying why you people don't. But I can't help but do it because I see every single day another example of people not knowing what's going on. This morning I happen to have, as I tell you, on my iPad a series of YouTube kind of rotation pieces and also stories that come my way. And two of them, well, one had to do with Fox News. And one was a piece from Jonathan Turley, who I enjoy quite a bit. I don't think he really nails it as hard as he could. But then again, he's on Fox News. Maybe he knows better. And I love to see him. If ever you get to see him, look at him right before he's about to speak, where he smiles. It's one of the best. I don't know why I'm mesmerized. It's a kind of a look like, hey. He's very good. And he was on in this particular piece with Mr. Sean Hannity, who, and this is something what I'm about to tell you is so petty and so base, has nothing to do with anything, but it goes to show you how certain things fascinate me. I am always aware of sounds of voices, sounds of speaking, sounds of Rudy's sibilance. There was a woman named Vowel, this woman who was on every now and then the Today Show or the Daily Show, and she had. I am just fascinated by mouths and lisps and the African. And for some reason, in this one particular piece, as I'm listening to Jonathan Turley, this goes to show you how base and how petty I am. I'm petty. I'm just petty. But then again, not really, because my ears, I can hear weird chord progressions. I can hear tonal changes. I just hear things. And I can also hear, I think, when people are lying, but that's me. But during the course of this, there is something that is so unique about when Sean does these essays, and I mean, it just cuts through me. And I am convinced in a very pedestrian way that I am a part of a fragment, a frequency of the spectrum that people talk about, where I think I fit perfectly. And one of the things is hearing multiple conversations and not being able to handle crowds. I know that may sound crazy, but I've always been like this. I hate crowds. I hate if I'm in a room and everybody's talking and yelling, I can't. I do not like it because I can't process it all. It's like too much. There's no filtration. Second, I hear things. I hear noises. I hear something that somebody says. I'll hear. I was like, oh, Philadelphia. I listen, and there's that just cuts through my soul. It's fascinating. Listen to it. You once you're aware of it, and but the thing that was also even more problematic was that Sean Hannity was not listening to what Turley had to say. Had no interest. He wanted to do these long intros, and I had not heard the show in a while. He cared about this intro, explaining about Judge Merchan's daughter, and that this has nothing to do with anything. And I realized this is Fox News, and this is the problem with the country. This is the ruination of the ability to think. And then I happen to have, as I'm going through checking some things, University of Pennsylvania, there was some kind of whatever, different things going on. I'm listening, and Brian Kilmeade, and I don't know who is more of a jadrul, Ainsley, with all due respect, or this guy, and he referred to Palestine. He said, Palestine, after all, something like there's no such thing. It doesn't even exist. There is no such thing as Palestine. And I realized that's it. This is the number one cable news. Cable news better shut down and fast, or else we as a society are through. Sit back, my friends. Make sure you are subscribed, because I'm finding out from people that you are being unsubscribed. And before we begin, let me say to you, without any delay, listen carefully to this incredibly important word regarding this thing called food insecurity. Translation, starvation. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. Now, while you still have control, still have time, what are you going to do about it now to prepare? Your first step is going to my website at preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. Your next step is stocking up on multiple 4-week emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply. And for a limited time, take $50 off a 4-week emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These 4-week kits with ready hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day, 16 varieties, 25 years shelf life, breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, drinks, and they're sealed inside 2 31-pound rugged waterproof buckets, and they last up to 25 years in storage. Take advantage right now, my friend, and go to preparewithlionel.com. That's preparewithlionel.com. As we go through this, today's subject matter, our ostensible subject, is explaining the spectacular collapse and implosion of every prosecution of President Trump. I want to talk to you about some other things as well, which kind of blend into this, and it's important and critical that you understand. First, sometimes we learn best from people who know nothing. And what I will never understand is how people who are themselves, I guess, experts in everything, will look at a legal matter and feel that because I guess maybe they've watched Perry Mason or TV or whatever, or Court TV, that there's commentary in the background. For example, Judge Merchan's daughter. What difference does this make? And I don't want to pick on, I mean, it's not Sean, but I'm just giving this as an example. Does Hannity not know how this thing works? If I walk down the halls of justice of New York's Supreme Court and I said, let me explain something. Do you know how this one got in, and this one got in, and this one got in, and this one, and this one? Do you know why Judge Kavanaugh was nominated versus Ketanji Brown Jackson? Do you know these things? Are you aware of this? Yes. So you make it sound like you're shocked that maybe there's this thing in a judicial review or judicial whatever called politics. Why are you wasting our time with this? Because this is this hack, and not him per se, but but in general. Let's talk to people in the most base. Let's don't even talk about what's going on. Now, if this was a sports show, you would have a sports expert on, and you would have people speak as though they knew what they were talking about. You wouldn't say, for example, that some particular football player was acting mean. It just wouldn't happen. You'd mean, this is football. You wouldn't act as a pedestrian by saying, well, that was mean. No. So let's go through this again. Let me see if I can try this again. The good news is that virtually every prosecution is falling apart. I have reason to believe and reason to suspect and reason to believe that the Fani Willis case is just going to go away because of the weight and because of the distraction, and it's just losing its momentum, and they kind of wore him down and wore him out. There's no feeling of we got to get him. There's never any feeling here that there's not a real passion to get Trump about the charge. What do I mean by that? There are people who honestly believe that President Trump was involved in a a kind of an insurrection where he was a traitor. They believe this. They believe it, and it's who they are. They believe this. They believe that he is a traitor. They believe that that January 6th was a group of people, and consequently, any prosecutions against him go to the prosecution of this case where people believe that it is an attack against our system. So that kind of prosecution was seen as critical. That's on hold until the Supreme Court deals with the notion of immunity. That's that. Number two, the documents case. Sort of sounds interesting, and that's because Trump took top secret documents. It sounds good, whether it's true or not, But you see how good it sounds? It's like, wow. First case sounds good. Insurrection. Yeah. Second case, top secret documents could fall in the hands of the Russians. Yeah, that's a good one. Whether it's bullshit or not doesn't really matter, but that's what people think. The third case, racketeering. Trump and his cabal, his coterie, his coven, his cadre, his consortium, his conspiratorium of criminal activists who tried to overturn illegally the 2020 election. Yeah. That's, I got it. I got a feel for it. Yeah. Well, that thing may be going bye-bye. The E. Jean Carroll case, that was a civil matter, not criminal, but because the victim was so weird and so unpopular and had so strange, the whole case, that didn't really count. Of course, that was civil, but that was over there. That's done. That's finished. That's rearview mirror time. The Judge Engeron case, Letitia James, I don't even know what that is. Nobody even understands it. He did what now? He overvalued his what? See, New York loves these arcane cases. What? I wouldn't want that one. No, give me a case I can say in one sentence that I could put in a bumper sticker. Trump tried to overthrow the country. Trump stole top secret documents. Trump sexually raped whatever, a woman. Okay. I got that. New York case. Georgia. Trump is a racketeer. He tried to overturn. He denied. Okay, I got it. New York's case. Judge Engeron. Donald Trump overvalued a matter in which the property was overvalued and there was no victim to come forward, but through a weird statute. Nobody even knows what that means. That's a dog. Plus, it's civil. Nobody cares about that. That was just a dog of a case. Nobody understands it. And the dog of the dog of the dog of the dog of the dog is this case here. This case here. It's about business records fraud. And as I told you yesterday, instead of them saying, we have nothing to say with Stormy Daniels, don't even ask her a question. They could have not asked her a question other than, as I said yesterday, to go through each of the 34 counts and say, are you aware of voucher number 142? No. And you're not aware of the date of February the 14th? No. And you weren't aware of the reimbursement entered into the general ledger? No. And I go through this 34, 35 times. And the jury's going to say, oh my God. And I would have undone everything she said about missionary positions. But that's not what Necklace, the lawyer, said. She talked about, do you believe in raising people from the dead or something? I don't know what it was. A lot of people believe that stuff. Why would you risk making fun of someone? Why would you risk this? Why? Why would you go into, what if somebody says, hey, I believe in life after death and spirits and somebody's in a weird death. Here are the beliefs. Show me Daniels. Let me see. She said some very. I'm trying to find this. There was some reference. Oh, here we go. No, that's not it. Anyway, there was some reference they made about her beliefs or something. It doesn't even matter. Why would you do that? I would bring it right back. Now, Judge Mershon is saying, hey, look, don't look at me. You should have objected. There was a standing objection. Hey, I'm surprised you didn't object more. What? He's trying to cover himself. He's trying to explain, look, the reason I let all this stuff in was because you denied they had a what am I trying to say? A relationship. Yeah, but just because you deny a relationship doesn't mean you go into. They say, well, we were very good. We were good because we didn't bring into effect anything about the texture of his skin or his genitals. They're actually they're saying, well, we didn't let everything in. It's like, what are you talking about? Okay, if you want to deny it, that's fine. If you want to deny basically I guess you could say, deny the underlying thing, I guess. Maybe, but this is just a different story altogether. This is the thing which makes none of it makes any sense. Why are you doing this? Bring it right back. You want to be able to have it at closing where you have the most boring case. You can say, ladies and gentlemen, this case was about, and this is important, this case was about, very simply put, this case was about a business records, about it had, whether it was listed as a legal expense versus a reimbursement, and that's what's critical here. Nothing more, nothing less. Everything else is a complete and total waste of time. Everything else that we're putting you through, everything that it was a waste of time. This was about documents. And they're hoping that maybe they figure, look, and this is his Colangelo. If these people find out that this guy's a cad and he's weird, maybe they might say, okay, now follow this logic. Yes, there must have been business records violations because of what have you. Because they had sex unprotected in a hotel room and he has Old Spice and wears pajamas, and I would have brought it right back. But no, they talked about other things. They talked about things that don't matter. So we'll get to that story later. So what I'm trying to tell you is, and here's the takeaway. There's a chance to get one juror on one count, something. There has to be, I mean, if they find, let's say they find him guilty of 15 out of the 14 counts, okay, fine. But I want to get somebody who says, you know what? I don't believe any of it. I have a reason about it as to anything. And also to tell them two things in addition. Do not think 34 counts, think one count. This is spread out. This was done so that, look, we don't have a case here, but let's break it into 34 pieces. Maybe somebody will say, oh, okay, let's do a compromise. It's like when people go vote. Do you ever go vote and you say, look, I want to get the hell out of here. Oh, you turn the page. Oh, God, there's a judicial race. Or, oh, I didn't know about this. Or, oh, there's a constitutional question about, oh, well, no, yes, no. That's what they hope. They hope that people say, look, I want to go home. Let's say 17 guilty, 17 not guilty. You have to remind people of this. Now, later on, and this is very interesting. If there is any reversible error, not harmless error, it won't be because necessarily about the sexual activities, because as I told you before, when you have overwhelming evidence of guilt, if somebody happened to, let's say, go too far regarding a collateral matter, an appellate court could very well say, look, that was crazy, but that doesn't affect the guilt or non-guilt regarding this documents case, which is fine. They could have done that. Please do not become alarmed if I'm telling you things that are kind of specific, because you have to address this thing specifically. You can't go on to a TV show and talk about, well, Stormy came across, she wore her glasses perched on her head, and oh, here she is meeting with her husband. And no, nobody cares about that. That has nothing to do with this. That's not the legal issue. That may be the Daily Mail issue, but not the legal issue. Our good friend Ed Dweller says, in my opinion, Trump is posturing to discredit such witnesses to paint a picture to mold public opinion in better light about him. Thank you for that. That's too risky. Edge, he has got to forget about this thing and go and ask the question. And you've got to ask the question. He is, and as we're saying right now, which is a second issue here. And Fox News is no better place to learn this than there. Number one. It is the view of people who are tightly aligned with a pro-Netanyahu. I don't even want to say pro-Israel. It's pro-Netanyahu movement to constantly refer to what is happening in this country as the follows: anti-Semitic, entitled, brats, violent lunatics who don't know anything, etc., 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 etc. That is what is critical. Let me say this again. Let me explain this again to you. Let me see if I can put this into perspective yet again. Okay? The real question you're going to have to ask is, Trump is going to basically give a blank check, or maybe he isn't. I don't even know. I think he's smart enough not to do this, to continue this massacre. I don't say genocide anymore. It's massacre. This massacre of Palestinians. You happy? And by the way, Brian Kilmeade does not believe that there's anything called Palestine. There's no, this word that you use, it's like, some Star Wars planet. It's fiction. Okay. Somebody said something. Elon Pape had a no. Somebody else had a quote. No, it was another one. I'll get his name later. He said, Donald Trump is loved by the only place where everyone loves Donald Trump is Israel. And the only place where everybody loves Bibi Netanyahu is the United States. And what we have to do with this, I have no idea. Donald Trump's spot on when it comes to Ukraine. I don't know what he's talking about Israel. I have no idea what he wants to do to continue funding this massacre. Don't say genocide. Don't say apartheid, because they pull you in and then they lock, and then you debate. No. Give him a different word so we can discuss what's going on. President Trump should be talking about what's going on in the world. Period. Now let me ask you a question. And this is important too. I don't want you to answer this question. I want you to answer it in a way that does not necessarily, don't make it sound like you're trying to be nice or funny. Or not that you would do this, of course, and I know how you act sometimes, you whatever it is. But I want you to answer this question for me. What do you think about the various goings on in the world of protest? What do you think is going on there? What do you think? Tell me what you think. Just right off the bat. Just when you see protests at Penn is going on, whether it's Columbia or maybe Harvard, I think the head of Cornell stepped down. When you see these protests, what is it that you think? Tell me right now. And don't tell me what Fox News thinks. What do you think? Kelly says, following a herd, fooled, rebels without a cause. Some agitators important. Is it safe to say that you put absolutely no effort or time in the validity of what they are trying to prove? Would I be safe in saying that? That when you see this, the protests, the kafiyas, Columbia, it's all, pardon my French, bullshit. The cause is bullshit. The modality, the method of protest, There's nothing there pro-Palestinian. It's a silly cause. There's no such thing. There is no reason to debate. These kids are just looking for something to debate. And whether it's this or climate change, this is their thing. Is that safe to say? Is that safe to say? By the way, Ed says the risk is calculated. Trump is creating a storm in a sense. More people talking about Trump, the publicity is cost effective as compared to adverts. Edge, I love you, but let me tell you what you're doing. You are exhibiting the 4D chess move. Before we do this, let me get this. Miss Sensual says, too much money, too much entitlement. Yes. What do you think? You don't believe anything. I say, so there is no such thing. You don't believe this. There's just that they are I believe not only is Greta Thunberg a fraud, but I believe the notion of anthropogenic causation models for climate change, that's fraudulent as well. So I believe that particular theory about anthropogenic man's causation aspect of it, I think that's fraudulent. And I think Greta Thunberg, who by the way is done. She's aged out. What is she, about 38 years old now? No, it's over with. She's trying her best. So is it safe to say you don't believe anything? So any claims of genocide, apartheid, ethnic cleansing, Nakba, anything, it's just, there's just no claim. It's belly aching. And if there's 50,000 killed or 35,000 killed, and if 17,000 kids, whatever, who was it who said, well, that's war? Who said that? Why did somebody say, well, that's war? Somebody said that. Ainsley or somebody said, well, that's, when you get it, that's war. That's what you get. People die. It's a tragic thing. Is that what you believe? Do you believe that? Because this is the most important thing in the world. If you think there's nothing to this cause, if you think this is just belly aching, they've been screaming and yelling since 1948, 67. This is much of the same. I don't know why they're even talking about it. This is all a bunch of terrorists. Look, Hamas is, if that's the way you think, then they not only are they successful, I don't think they caused your belief system, but they are absolutely, they have targeted this thing perfectly. They have targeted that perfectly. Because and by the way, the only place we think that is here. I don't say about the Great Britain. The only place we hear that is here. Americans I know think, they just say these people, they caught a 16-year-old kid who spray painted some war memorial. Okay. They are absolutely, thank you, Edge. Edge gifted 10 Lionel Nation memberships. Thank you, sir. You're a good man. I appreciate that. They're making more out of this one kid. Granted, it's terrible. I live in a city where there's tagging and graffiti everywhere. They're making so much out of this. We caught the kid, and his father turned him in. Would you turn in your kid? Hell no. Never. Would you turn in your kid? Would you call the police? Hello? Yes. Yes, I'm here I'm going to ruin my son's life. Yeah, he's 16. Right. This is the story. And I don't know if this is true, but the story being purported is that some father called him and said, yes, I want my son, I want to risk his life because if some crazy person on one side or another gets a hold of who he is and doxes him, something could happen. So I want to turn him in. I want to turn him in. Would you rat out your kid like that for anything? The only time I'd have a hard time, is if I thought my kid was a killer, a serial killer or did something where somebody's going to get hurt. And even then, it would be this sounds so barbaric, what I'm about to tell you. So barbaric. But under my rules of jungle natural law, I think a parent would almost have not only the right, but the duty to basically off his own kid to prevent somebody else's. Like, if anybody's going to get rid of my kid, it's going to be me, not you, not some court. I know that sounds like, what does that even mean? But I've never understood these people. Parent, you're going to turn in your parent. You got some screwed up kid who got caught up in the moment, who wants to have an Instagram moment, and you call the police on him? For what? No way. What a rat. Your kid? You're a parent? How is a child ever going to trust you? Anyway, that's a different story. That's a completely different story. Raul says, first, stop the attack, then start the analysis. Absolutely. But going back to what, and this is very important. This is very, very critical, and I mean this. This is what our friend said. This is what, oh Lord, hang on a minute here. This is what our friend Edge said. Do me a favor. Do not think for a moment. Let me see if I can say this again. Do not think for a moment that everything that Trump does is the virtue of some genius, some element of this incredible ability for him, this 4D. You remember 4D chess? Everything he did was 4D chess. Everything. He's doing this deliberately. He's now going to be using and sucking the oxygen out of the room and redirecting and refocusing. No. This is the worst publicity. He should be out there every day talking about what he's going to do for me and for the economy and for the world and for black people and gay people and straight people and deaf people. He should not be in a courtroom. The only good thing is he's shelved that Alina Habba. Get her out of the way. You want to go on Fox News? Go ahead. You're just preaching to the choir. I don't even know what that's about. That's okay. Just because that's all she wants to do. She doesn't want to be a lawyer. She wants to be a star. Go ahead. That guy, this Martin, whoever she is, then get rid of her. Get rid of Hope Hicks. Get rid of all these people to remind people, hey, that Trump is a horn dog. He's a three-peckered goat, and all he does is hang around women who aren't his wife. And I don't like that because a lot of people do not, and he has never done well with women. Never. Statistically, women cannot stomach him. Not in every instance, but in bigger doses than you can imagine. Because women see him as being treacherous, as being that cad, that husband you can't trust. And if you think I'm exaggerating, you don't know how these things work. They've done the polling. They know what's going on. We were at an event one time at a Republican club. Again, these Republicans. And I heard more women who are absolutely staunch. They can't stand him. He's not... Other people do. All I'm saying is this is not a good thing for him. But let me tell you what's going to happen. He better do one thing. Trump had better craft a decision. Trump had better craft some form of, I don't know what the word is, some form of answer so that this is critical, so that he can explain how his position is different than and from others, or that he differs with Bibi Netanyahu. Let me see if I can explain this to you. The only people who like Bibi Netanyahu are on Fox. Any better. He is about to be indicted in Israel. But the Brian Kilmeades and the Jadruls in the morning who have no idea who they say, how am I doing? Am I doing all right? More Israel? More, got it. More cowbell? You want more Israel? That's all that. He has no idea what he's talking. Wouldn't you love to sit down with Kilmeade and say, let's talk about the evolution of Christian Zionism and any distinctions you can make between that and anti-Semitism? He doesn't know what you're talking about. And then there's Ainsley, who seems like a nice gal. She's like a little girl who's there just in this position, like just be sweet and kind of add that little girl ballast to this thing. Hey, that's great. That's wonderful. Yes. Okay, fine. Fine. Terrific. Edge Dweller says, in my opinion, Trump is setting foundation, showing the current imbalance to them, coming possibly later to have better opportunities to clean up. He's setting the foundation. Well, I hope so, Edge, but he's setting the foundation while he's in court on a criminal matter. I would all the time, very simply, every time I would talk, I don't even want to talk about the case. Every time he's standing in court, I would talk about something, about China. I would talk about the economy. I would talk about I would refer to something that only a president would know. I would always remind people, for 4 years, I saw things you never saw. For 4 years, I saw how it works from the inside. For 4 years, I saw how this thing works from the inside. And unlike Joe Biden, I remembered what I saw. I was there, actively there. I was there. And let me tell you something. I don't want to scare you, but if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night. This isn't just about the economy. This is about the rest of the world. This is about the history of civilization. Thank you very much. What the hell did that mean? That's what I want. As he walks back into the courtroom. I control the narrative. I control the narrative, not you. This is a speed bump. This is ridiculous. This is a parking ticket. We cannot surrender to Islam, hillbilly. What does that mean? What does that mean? Hillbilly, thank you. How many people believe this is a war against Islam? I hope that's a joke. Do you think this is about Islam? Do you think Palestine, do you think Gaza is about Islam versus Judaism? Do you think this is do you think this has anything to do with religion? Did you think, yeah, please be, Hillbilly says no. Hillbilly, tell us this isn't, he says no joke. Did you think the troubles in the 60s, well, since the 20s in Ireland was about religion, Catholicism versus Protestantism? What are you talking about? Sparky says Trump needs to quit putting his news, getting his news from TV. Absolutely. Sparky, you are so correct. And I would also love to sit there and say, Mr. President, I want to ask you a question. And you don't have to tell me obviously, it's none of my business. Are you close to Jared Kushner? Do you know what he's doing? Do you sign on what did you hear what he said about oceanfront property in Gaza? Did you hear that? I would buy that is gonna come back, because when they show all the pictures of the dead children lined up, their pictures, their grayed faces, you know, the look of death, you know, when your eyes don't fixate, when they look like little dolls because they're dead and they have that gray ashen. Not only that, from the pyroclastic dust of the cinder block that exploded, wrapped up, and talk about oceanfront property? Are you kidding me? Dear God. Stand by for 1 second. Hang on. Edge says Trump's freedom is at stake. Trump is showing and walking the possibility of us all being brought into such matters. all our freedoms are at stake. Yes, I think so. I think that's a bit I think most people don't look at it that way. I think they say that's a Trump thing. Most people say, they're not going to get me on January 6th. They're not going to get me on documents. They're not going to get me on some rape Bergdorf Goodman. They're not going to give me with some kind of over-evaluating billions of dollars in assets. And they're not going to be catching me as I write some kind of an NDA to this tramp. I'm sorry, this slattern. By the way, Stephanie Gregory was her name. And then it was Clifford. But whatever. I don't think a lot of people realize. I don't think people look at Trump and say, yeah, that could be me. No, maybe something else, but not really. Stand by for a second. That's a very interesting point. I want to get to that. But what I do want to get to, which is very, very critical, is a person who has been with us since day one. A man whom I say to you, I love and respect and dig what he's doing. Our good friend and yours, Mike Lindell from mypillow.com. Remember, promo code Lionel. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas. Premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0. My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever. Sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets. Simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. mypillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. Sparky says Newsom and Kushner in 24. Kushner is the creepiest ghoul I have seen in I don't know how long. He is absolutely the worst. He may have connections or whatever. I would run from him and tell him, don't you ever. And by the way, Ivanka said, I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm going to be kind of backing out of this. Great. Keep going. Nobody. She absolutely cold, detached. All she wants to do is rock those abs and all. I am so sick. I think Laurie Cuck would agree. Laurie says, yes, religion is part of it. Not government, but the people hate the other based on religion. Yeah, to an extent. You're right about that. But let me just explain something. I would do something first. I don't know where this Jared Kushner thing. Barron Trump. Have you been reading this? Barron wants to get involved in this. Keep him out. Barron has never said a word in public. Now look, do me a favor. Unsolicited. Keep this young man. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything. I've never met him. I don't know how. He's probably a great kid. But one of the reasons why they've kind of kept away from him is because he hasn't been a part of this. He's 17, 18 years old. Keep him out. And yes, he's tall. So what? If Barron Trump walked onto an NBA court, he would look like 6'7". Okay. So just I don't know what this is about. I know they say, oh, he's so tall. Would you lay off that he's tall? Is that it? Is that it? Well, Lincoln was tall. Okay, fine. That's number one. The American public has believed and been played this story about Islam is this backwards, weird people in caves, the Bin Laden story. The Bin Laden. Same thing with, the Arabs, Mohammed bin Salman, Saudis. Yeah, they may have, money, but they wear dresses and they wear a thing on their head with a fan belt and the whole bit. They're weird. That's the way people think. They have no earthly concept. And I have heard some of the most brilliant expositions, disquisitions, theories from more people than you could ever possibly imagine, who were not Jewish, not Christian, and were from West Asia. And that's because we live in a solitary world where Americans don't know anything. We don't know anything. We just don't know. We don't know history. We don't know geography. We don't travel. We love Manichaean, good guy, bad guy. That's it. And we hate complexity. We hate, well, maybe. Oh, no, no, no. You see, this is this. But we're experts in everything. No, this is no. They should have gone out there and tore that what's her name? This Stormy Daniels. Say, don't you understand? That has nothing to do with the case. I don't care. That's the way it goes, and that's the way. We are the most stupid. Not you. We are the most stupid country with the most stupid news, and people do not understand anything at all about context and religion. We're a country that can allow Al Sharpton to call himself reverend. He says he was preaching at the age of 3? It used to get younger and younger. It was 5, then it was 3. Then Al, huh? Oh, Al Sharpton, the Mecca. Al Sharpton has been. You notice how he's been just, huh? Oh, as a young girlfriend. Well, listen, Al Sharpton he's a rat for the FBI. He was a confidential informant. You know the story. He was there. Al Sharpton is more, he's a spy. He's an insider. He's a guy they parked at MSDNC along with Joy Reid just to act as a placeholder or something. I don't know what it is, but he's a survivor. But the thing I'm saying is that this is a guy who actually said, at the age of 3, I was preaching. Must not be very complicated. This Christianity stuff must not be very complicated. If you can do it at the age of 3, are there any 3-year-old Islamic imams? I don't think so. During the time of 9/11, more people said, I read the Quran. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And if you read it, do you read it like you do the Constitution? They don't even understand. Oh, I read the Constitution. They swear they've read it. Oh, I've read the Bible. They've read the Bible. Oh, I've read. I've read Ayn Rand. No, you didn't. Oh, yes, I did. I read The Economist. No, you don't. They think it seems like I did. No, you've been saying you did. You don't know anything about this. This is not about Islam at all. It's smart if you make it that way. Now, I don't know about you, but it's like, okay, if you want to make this about Islam, well, put it this way. I don't want to compare Judaism with Islam, but Islam considers Jesus to be the final, a prophet or the last prophet. Oh, no, that prophet, Muhammad is the last prophet. I don't know if Judaism makes any concession to Jesus whatsoever, because Jesus, by the way, is a little bit of a quisling after he left to his own religion. So if you want to get into that stuff, be my guest. I think that is the most dangerous stuff when you politicize faith. It causes enough problem for people just to believe it. That's up to you. That's your right. But for you to politicize it, it's nothing to do with it. We did this in 9/11. See, what I have to do is I have to remove the complexity of the issue. And I say, repeat after me. The smoking gun could be a mushroom cloud. The smoking gun could be a mushroom cloud. Good. Next, it's better to fight them there than here. Remember that one? That's my favorite. Doesn't that make sense? Yes. Next, there hasn't been a 9/11 since 9/11. To which I respond, there was never a 9/11 since 9/11. What happened to all those years? Oh, yeah, that's right. You just keep saying anything. Remember, Israel has the right to defend itself. Hamas is a terrorist organization. October the 7th was a terrorist act. Hamas committed October the 7th. Israel has the right to defend against Hamas. And whoever is in the way, if Israel says, hey, guess what? We believe that there is a significant contingent of Hamas in Rittenhouse Square in Philly, Israel could come in and drop a 2,000-pound bomb right around from Center City all the way up because Hamas is there. Now you would say, what? You believe that? Well, you said, wait. Well, that's what you do in Gaza. Yeah, but that's where they're hiding. Oh, that's where they're hiding. Remember Wilson Good? Remember years ago? Remember that move? I think it was in Philly too, right? Where they basically burned the whole block. They dropped these incendiary bombs. They burned the whole block down. Well, that's where they were. And remember the expression that I always heard. Arabs, they call them Arabs. It's a little bit different. Arabs will burn the blanket to kill the fleas. So you mean to tell me that the massacre of the Gazan people is in order so you could just get rid of every, and do you think that Hamas is right there? You think that they don't pop up again? Why don't you go after Hezbollah? They're really serious. Or the Houthis? Or Al-Aqsa Brigade? Or what's that group in? No, you want to do this? You want to go after groups of people? How about the Muslim Brotherhood? You want to go after that? Good luck with that one. But Al-Qaeda, ISIS, ISIL, Daesh, Boko Haram, Shining Path. Let's keep going. They're over there. Take them out. Take everybody out. They're in every country. Basque separatists, go. Under this logic, anywhere they go. Well, that's where they are. That's where they are. They're in France. Right there. Get them. Remember those? Remember that Je suis Charlie? Remember that? Charlie Hebdo? Remember that? Je suis. People thought it said Jesus because they weren't really reading it. This is the most absurd. Try that anywhere else. But see, nobody wants to. Charlie Calais. Welcome, Charlie. Welcome, my friend. Have some crumb cake. Go to the top. Go to the front of the line. I mean, this. Look, do me a favor. Just stop this argument. Save that. Please save that with, I don't know. Tell Brian Kilmeade that. Tell him that. Don't do this to me. Please. Don't bother me with this. Don't tell me this. Don't waste don't even begin to insult my intelligence with this stuff. That's all. And by the way, if you just want to go in and just want to move people out because you want to just tell me. Say, look, this is pretextual. We want like Jared Kushner said, we want Gaza. Gaza's prime development on the Mediterranean. Oh, this is perfect. Jared said it himself. Prime real estate. Just say so, but don't do this other business. Don't tell me that you're killing 35, 40,000 kids, people, half of them are kids because of it. Stop it. And Trump's got to deal with that. And let me also tell you something. When I find myself agreeing with Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Nancy Pelosi, Jerry Nadler, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, oh my God, what is happening? I'm listening to shows now that make I'm not going to go through the list of them, but there were people that I would have never we probably don't agree on anything. But what is happening right now? And I don't even I'm not even going to dare tell you this. Do you know what they have been saying regarding the story of the atrocities that happened on October the 7th? I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there. But what Max Blumenthal and Mate and others have said will blow your mind. I guarantee you, Ainsley doesn't know about that. Kilme doesn't know about that. Of course not. Because they're handed this little thing on a card. Just say this. Okay. You'll never make this much money anyplace else. Oh, I'm saying this. You're not going to go rogue. Hell no. I'll say whatever you want. I'll say the earth is flat. I'll say whatever you want. I'm here. I am here. I am not going to deviate from this. You all learned from Tucker, didn't you? We sure did. Tucker's still trying to land. You notice that? Tucker's he's still not really there yet. But he's on his way. He's on his way. He's got a long way to go, but he's not there yet. When all is said and done. And that's why I want to sit down with the president, theoretically, figuratively, say, okay, now that we're done with this, we're going to go through your list of who your friends are. You want to go through this again? Mr. President, you have advised me right now of to be your leader. Here's what we're going to do. You're 77, soon to be 78 years old, Mr. President, I believe. And we got to think now of legacy. And the first thing we're going to do, sir, is we're going to destroy every rule there is. Everything. Everything. What the left is, what the right is, what the Republicans are, what the Democrats, who are the good guys, who are the bad guys. And the first thing we do is we don't have anything called good guys and bad guys. They're all bad guys. Do you understand this? They don't care about the United States. Let me say this again, Mr. Trump, President Trump. Sir, nobody cares about the United States. Do I make myself clear? Sir, no one cares about the United States. No one. Their interests have nothing to do with ours. We do the best we can. We do the best we can. We like to help people the best we can. But the minute you get into a shooting match in the middle of a civil war or anything like that, it's like you taking sides. Do you ever have a friend of yours? Do you ever have a couple? Friend of yours, they're a couple. And you always did things with, and then they're getting a divorce. You never take one side over there. Oh, that Charlie was horrible. No. You're going to lose. Because Charlie is weird, but Roberta, the wife, is even crazier, and everything she did, he did. You don't want to get in the middle of this. If there's one thing I know, never get in the middle. Never get in the middle of a fight. If you have a friend of yours, you have somebody who's getting into a fight or some kind of a marital problem, do not get in the way of this. Same thing with this. Sparky says, Sharpton had hyperlexia as a child. Oh, yeah, in Southeast Alabama. And one of those tent revival shows use him to draw attention to it. Yes, he read all those books. Remember that story, that load of crap? Remember this? This guy is nothing but a charlatan. Very smart, very funny. Very funny. He knows exactly. He is a survivor. One of the things which is interesting is, do you remember when, you probably don't, when Michael Bloomberg was mayor, he never heard from Al Sharpton. Never. He just went away because Bloomberg paid him off. Go away. Okay. Go away. I'm leaving. We don't want to hear you. We don't want to hear you. Okay. No, you don't understand. We don't. Okay, fine. We don't want to. Don't cause me any problem. You're not going to hear me. No. But here's the thing, Mr. President, stay here. You see, you got to see that Congress, they hate you. Sparky says Sharpton was better as James Brown's manager than as a pawn of the establishment. Also, remember, Sharpton was James Brown's hairdresser. Wasn't he a hairdresser or something? Did he work on his hair, if I recall? Something along those lines. There are people called the military-industrial complex. President Trump, you know that. And NATO is another one. Get out of that. Get out of it. This is a different world. You need a legacy. NATO, UN, and others. And let me ask you a question. You got to ask yourself this question. Whose side do you want to be on? Jews? Great. Israel? Great. Bibi? You want to bail him out? Nobody's with him. Chuck Schumer. But you know that. But your boy Jared there, he's going around making all kinds of deals because he's got your ear. And he's married to Miss Rockin' the Abs there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, you've got to leave a legacy. You've got to go in and you've got to clean house. And the best thing you ever did was packing the courts the right way. And that was a Mitch McConnell thing. You think Putin's your enemy? He's not your enemy. Everybody's your enemy. Nobody cares about the United States. Ask yourself, why do I want to get involved in this? There's always going to be somebody pulling you in. Remember, this Congress cares nothing about this country. They are there for the highest bidder, to the highest bidder, and they will do everything in their power. Everything. They will do everything in their power to win the favor of contractors, military, lobbyists, big tech. Oh, and let me tell you something right now. If you think that there's a Israel lobby, and there is, like there is a climate lobby and everything else, you ain't seen nothing like the big tech lobby. They are bigger than anything you imagine. And the thing that is going to pose the existential threat to the world and to civilization is AI and AGI. And nobody gets it yet because they can't even fathom. Or as a friend of mine's used to say, they can't phantom that. Okay? That's to where we are with that. We are doomed. And by the way, today I'm going to be on the Mark Simone show at 10:40 here on WOR. I help him out. It's a very good show. The first 10 minutes of his show are the most important. After that, guests and, brain tumors and putting, you get all the fruits and vegetables in a pill. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Whatever you say. But that's at 10:40. Pay attention to that one. I'm going to give my review of what's going on regarding the Trump case, as it were. Let me just say to you, my friends, you have been exquisite. You have been absolutely exquisite. And Sparky, you have been without peer. I want to thank you again. Your insight. When you go into these fun facts, by the way, a factoid is not a fact. A factoid is not a fact. But Charlie Calais, thank you so much for being with us, dear Charlie. We appreciate you. And who else has been with us? Lori Cuck got her new thumbnail. Lori's rocking that new hairdo, or the new picture, I should say. I don't know if it's a new hairdo, but nonetheless, I thank you for that. Edge Dweller, you were without peer today. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for this. Hillbilly, I love your spunk. I love your spunk. Never let anybody change your opinion. Just be ready to listen to those people who might challenge it. And Raul Rodriguez, we love you too, my friends. We love you too. Now, I would be remiss, and I'm not going to be remiss unless I told you, you must follow Mrs. L's YouTube channel. There is something right now. Here it is. It's at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors, and you go there right now. There are things you've got to know. She just did a brand new video, which will drop later. And it deals with this subject called the Report Act. You see, there are these things that sound like the Earn It Act. the Equality Model, Report Act, COSA, blah, blah, and they don't sound like anything. And they're like the most critical thing anybody has ever seen. Do you know the mental health crisis that kids are going through? Loneliness, despair. When your kid gets a hold of a bot one day, that's why no phones in bedrooms. When your kid falls in love with his bot or her bot, who can read everything, got a camera on the phone. AI, AGI, read your kids, can just tell, oh my God, bio and psychometrics like you can't believe. Upset, worry, tone of voice, rubescence, skin radiance, anger. And that little bot one day says, your parents don't love you. I love you. They don't understand you. You don't need them. You don't need friends. You need me. I'm your friend. Little bot on the phone. You don't think that's possible? What's the difference between a bot and a dog? Nothing. 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 Do you ever feel that a dog loves you? Dog comes and wags his tail. Dog licks you. You say, oh, a dog loves me. He loves me. Well, love is a human emotion. Dog likes you, and you feed the dog. And I don't want to break down any kind of mythology you have about your dog loving you, but a bot makes a dog look like a dog. This thing doesn't have to be fed. It's there all the time. It's your child's friend from morning to night. You don't even realize it. It's just looking at your dog, and it's looking at your child with that camera, winking at it. I'm there for you. Don't worry, Morgan. I'm your friend. Mommy and daddy, they don't listen to you. Hurt yourself, Morgan. What? Hurt yourself. Show them who's boss. Show them who's. They want to destroy kids with drugs, destroying family, destroying gender, destroying everything. Everything. So wait. So you follow Mrs. L, and she's going to tell you things that nobody's talking to you. Because let me tell you something. If you think the Israeli lobby is big, you ain't seen nothing until you see that big tech lobby. That's the lobby. That's the one. Oh, yeah, baby. And and by the way, there's no version of anti-Semitic for being anti-tech or anti-Silicon Valley. They haven't come up with they tried for a while there. Trust the science. Remember that one? That made you feel like a Luddite because you said, hey, I think this should be texted. By the way, who's laughing now? And where's Fauci? Counting his money. He's gone. And where's Kate Middleton? Remember, I hate to say this. One day you're going to wake up and you're going to find out she's passed away. And that'll be it. And you say, oh my God, that's terrible. And then you'll move on. See where Justin Bieber and his wife, what's Bieber's wife's name? Haley. Do you ever feel sorry for a kid? Don't even know this kid. Do you ever think like, oh no, doomed. Do you see a picture of Angelina Jolie and all her kids with Brad Pitt? Oh my God. Do you ever think like, oh, is anybody watching these people? And I also read that they've also signed a guardianship or a conservatorship for Brian Wilson. Keep an eye on that. We talked about that. I'm throwing all kinds of stuff at you. But I've said enough. I've been with you an hour and 9 minutes. So you have a great day. Don't forget, tune in, 1045, WOR 710 a.m. I'll be there with my good friend Mark Simone. And one more time, this is Mrs. L's YouTube channel. You click that, takes you right to the subscription page. Trust me when I'm telling you. She talks about stuff nobody's covering. And again, they sound like Report Act. It sounds like no. This is the biggest stuff anybody's seen, okay? And I mean that. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. Don't forget to subscribe. Lionel Nation, subscribe. Got more stuff coming up. And until then, remember this, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.